Hello Curious and welcome back. It seems that there could be some potential house fighting going on among the British royals, and possibly even something more. We say this as most recently news has come out that the Cambridges might be moving into a new royal property, one that Princess Eugenie has had her eyes on for some time allegedly, and it turns out that Will and Kate might be the ones to snag it, as experts claim that they are a much better option for it than the prince's cousin. This has sparked some debate as to whether there might be some ongoing drama where Prince Charles's children are treated better than his nieces. But what is the reason for the Cambridges to get the house? Are there some hard feelings between Prince Andrew's daughters and Middleton? Does Eugenie's close relationship with Harry have something to do with it? And are there any moments where the two sisters outrank the wife of the future king? And could this be the reason for any strife? Stay with us until the very end to find out all the latest royal news, but before we continue, don't forget to hit the subscription and notification buttons to not miss any of future videos. And if you enjoy this content, click on the super thanks button to support us further. Recently, news has emerged that Kate Middleton and Prince William could be leaving their Anmer Hall home in Norfolk behind and moving to Windsor, and according to the palace insiders, there have been talks of them taking up residence at the Adelaide Cottage. The historic house is located in Windsor Home Park, just east of Windsor Castle, and just a short walk from it, which would be perfect as the Queen is reportedly set to live there permanently now. Fans of the hit Netflix series The Crown might enjoy this little fact, as that is where Prince Margaret's boyfriend, Group Captain Peter Townsend, lived in from 1944 to 1952. It has also been reported that the home is currently being used as a grace and favour residence by the royals, which means that it's a property where the family allows people close to them, such as Townsend, to live there rent-free. It was reported in the past that the monarch had planned to give the cottage as a wedding gift to the Sussexes, but as we know, that did not end up happening. If you want to know more about the royal properties and which ones the Queen owns and which one the state, then be sure to check out our previous video by clicking on the link above. But for now, make sure to stay with us until the very end. But let's get back to the Cambridges. Now, some of you might be wondering, why the move? Given that it is a short walk from Windsor Castle, sources have stated that the move was made for a few reasons. The two major ones being, given that William and Kate are next in line to the throne after Prince Charles and are some of the most active royals, it would make sense for them to be close to Queen Elizabeth II. It would also mean that they would be closer to London, which would make attending different events much easier. It is also worth noting that being closer to the British capital means that it's closer to the children's school. As interior therapy expert and feng shui consultant spoke with Express about the property as well and talked more about why it is a better fit for the Cambridges. They had stated that the couple values their privacy and wants their children to have a wonderful and safe childhood, so that would mean when looking at royal residences to move to, they most likely were looking for a place that would nurture and support them whilst also providing them the security and normality of family life. Now that we know about the property and why it might be an ideal place for the Cambridges, why is there drama involving Princess Eugenie? Well, as it turns out, Prince Andrew had wanted Adelaide Cottage for his daughter. For the time being, she and her husband Jack Brooksbank and their son August have been living in Frogmore Cottage, which is the house of the Sussexes. But while they are in the States, and it does look to be a permanent move, Prince Harry and Meghan had allowed Eugenie and her family to make it their home. Sources close to the Duke of York spoke with the Daily Mail and revealed that he had been trying to secure the cottage for his daughter for some time so that she could move out of Frogmore, though they stated that he was working towards getting the property before his most recent scandal. If you want to know what that was with regards to, then be sure to check out our previous video by clicking on the link above. Though for now, make sure to stay with us until the very end. For the time being, it is unclear if moving to the cottage is something that Eugenie is still interested in, though experts state that if it comes to anything, there is no doubt that the Cambridges would get first pick, as they are the heirs to the throne. But all this in turn had people wondering what the relationship is like between Andrew's daughters and the Cambridges, especially Kate. Well, for that, past media reports suggest that there had been tensions between the three women in the early years of the Duchess's relationship with her now husband. According to reports from The Sun, the two sisters in the past had remained close friends with one woman that Kate has ever felt threatened by, and that would have been Isabella Branson. If the name does not mean anything to you, she was allegedly the woman responsible for Cambridge's brief split at the start of their relationship, one that the Duke had propositioned on several occasions, each time being turned down. Another reason for there possibly being some cold feelings between Eugenie and Beatrice and Kate could have been that the fact that allegedly the two sisters were not exactly fond of Middleton's sister Pippa, which in turn made the relationship between the three women not as easy as it could have been. A source close to the royals had stated to the publication that another reason for this was that at events they would attend together while everyone would rush to fuss around the Duchess and give her all the attention. The two sisters could walk around barely getting bothered in such a way. The insider went on to add, few egos are small enough to cope with this kind of thing. Royalty is all about pecking order, often in a cruelly blunt sense, and it is Kate who has all the toys and the position. Well, of course, these are rumours and speculations, as neither of the mentioned parties would outright say whether this was the case. Well, maybe unless they followed in the footsteps of the Sussexes and did a tell-all interview. Though, speaking of the ex-royals, some had suggested that maybe there is some tension on that front between the cousins. After all, it is clear that Princess Eugenie has a rather good relationship with Prince Harry and Meghan, while tensions between the two brothers still seem high. Not only, as we mentioned before, do Eugenie and her family get to live in their Frogmore cottage, but she also visited them in the States earlier this year when they had attended the Super Bowl together. According to the British press, the two sisters are the two of the very few members of the royal family that are still on friendly terms with the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, and the report published by the Mail suggested that Andrew's daughters could prove to be useful intermediaries between the two sides of the family in the months and years to come ahead. And given that the Sussexes and their children are set to fly to the UK for the Queen's Platinum Jubilee, they could start work on that very soon. Though when it comes to this alleged strife between Eugenie and Beatrice and Kate, some had wondered if there are moments when the two sisters outrank the Duchess of Cambridge. And to that, we say yes. While it is nothing new that the members of the family curtsy to each other when in public and when cameras are rolling, it turns out that it is also something that they do when in private. And here is where the two sisters at times might have the upper hand on Middleton, and all due to a rather old law. The moments that Beatrice and Eugenie outrank the Duchess are all due to ancient rules of precedence set in stone by Queen Elizabeth I in 1595, which ranks blood relatives of the monarch above almost anyone else in the family. This means that should Kate encounter either of the daughters of Prince Andrew when she is alone, she has to curtsy to them, as being princesses by blood, they outrank her. However, should she be with her husband, Prince William, the roles would be reversed, as her husband's rank, when he is present, elevates hers. And given that they are second in line for the throne compared to 10th for Princess Beatrice and 12th for Princess Eugenie, they most certainly outrank the two. As a fun fact, it is worth noting that there is one exception to this marrying into the family rule, and that is Camilla, the Duchess of Cornwall. And that is because, as the wife of the immediate heir to the throne, the 74-year-old is of a higher status than anyone else in the family, besides the monarch, regardless of whether Prince Charles is in the room or not. But is this something that still happens behind closed doors? Well, it is hard to tell. As time has gone on, the royals have become less strict about who must curtsy or bow to who. Technically, Kate is even supposed to bow to her 3 children, as they are higher ranking than she is, but of course, she doesn't. The only person to who everyone curtsies and bows at all times is the Queen. So, what are your thoughts, curious? Do you think that there might be some tensions between the Cambridges and the daughters of Prince Andrew? In your opinion, is it right that Prince William's family should get the cottage despite Eugenie having her eyes on it longer, simply because he outranks her? Does her positive relationship with Prince Harry have some effect on things? And what do you think of this ancient rule? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and as always, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel. Until next time.